And soon and very soon we're going to 6. Of course, 2024 was a bad year for some persons. 2024 was a good year for some persons. It's dependent on who's listening. Everybody will not just have the same feeling and the same graces. It can't be the same. The graces are not the same. Sometimes you are favored, sometimes you are disfavored, right? And so then in 2025, some persons entered the year sadly. Some persons midway into the year, it was good for them. Some persons from the beginning to the end to where we are at is turbulence, and that is exactly how it is. Some persons from the beginning of the year to where we are at is grace in abundance for them. Whatever the case is, there's one thing that I've come to tell you, that His grace is sufficient, and the fact that we have life and life in abundance, we must be grateful to the Almighty God for His countless and endless, mercy that He has on us. Now, in addition, we must also be grateful for life, regardless of our condition. We must be grateful to the Almighty God for life. That is the greatest asset. What is wealth when you don't have life? What is money when you're in a critically ill condition? So there are some persons with money, but they do not have, the good health that you have. You see how life looks like? So while you're worrying about, no money, no food, but you are good in health. But guess what? There's somebody with money, with food excessively, but they do not have that life and that better health that you have. So wherever you are, whoever you are, and you're monitoring, I hope that you would touch this morning to just get down on bended knees, or literally just prostrate yourself, and just tell God, thank you for life in abundance. My name is Kelvin Dehmey. This is Prime FM 105.5. Today is the 29th day of September. It's the first start of a bright and brand new week, but it is also the latter days in the month of September. Bracing ourselves for a new month, and it starts on Wednesday, the 1st of October. Would like to say happy belated birthday. I may not remember all of the persons who celebrated their birthdays in the month of September, but I like to do this one for Muhammad Ali, alias Mo Ali. He celebrated his birthday on yesterday. He's the MD, the Managing Director of the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation. I also like to dedicate this broadcast to my friend and brother, formerly my co-host, and formerly of a Prime Communications Network Incorporated, Vesely Small. I'm told to celebrate his birthday on today. Happy birthday, Vezo. And I hope you celebrate in grand style. If you're celebrating your birthday today, you are valued and our cherished listener. You can just text, to 777-40-40-10, and I'm certainly going to read that all out for you. I may not know all of the persons celebrating the birthday on today, and all of those persons who celebrated on yesterday and the day before yesterday. I may not know all of those persons who celebrated the birthdays, but you can just text to 777-404010 intermittently. I'm going to read out those messages for you. Again, I want to apologize if I did not pick up on you. I may not know all of those persons celebrating the birthday on today, and of course. There are some persons who are silent listeners. They tell me that often at times. They say, well, I follow the station, but I don't call. Since the days of the late Mamadi Diakite, I've been an ardent follower of Prime Communications Network Incorporated, but I don't call, right? And so, but I just want to say thank you for the kind of works that you guys are doing there at Prime FM, at Prime House. And thanks for keeping the station alive. Sometimes I get those calls. Sometimes I get those kind of validations. Sometimes I don't get good calls, I must admit. But regardless, through it all, we are grateful to the Almighty God for the people who are listening to us, the people who are following us. And 9 years of existence, it is something that I and the rest of the team here must be thankful to the Almighty God for. 9 years is now more years to keep this entity alive. It got to be God and it got to be you. And so we must sometimes pick up times and say thanks to the Almighty God for his mercies, and we also must be able to thankful to you. We must pick up time in between time and appreciate you for the kind of prayers that you pray. Whether we do the right things or we do the wrong things, we must be able. Like I've said, this is a democratic platform, and regardless, and because it's a democratic platform, we do not expect our cherished and our valued listeners to always praise us, to always be happy with the things that we do, to always agree with us because you're an ardent follower of Prime Communications. And that's not the kind of style that I've cultivated. No, I've never fueled myself that way. I fuel myself, and I've transcended this to the rest of the team to be able to accept commendations and constructive condemnations, or we say, for lack of a better word, constructive criticism, right? Constructive criticism. That's what has kept us going with time. So we'd like to say good morning to all of you. I also like to use this time to say good morning to our cherished and our valued, our ardent followers on Prime FM Monrovia 105.5 on our official Facebook page. I'd like to wholeheartedly say good morning and welcome to the Monday's edition of the program, The Prime Morning Drive on Prime FM 105.5. I repeat, our official page is Prime FM Monrovia. Prime FM Monrovia 105.5. Prime FM Monrovia 105.5. And again, I'd like to say happy birthday to mine own friend and brother, one of our own in Vesely Smo, who celebrates his birthday on today. If you followed Vesely, if you're a friend of Vesely, you have his number. You can call him and wish him well and say happy birthday. We just heard that on Prime FM. You're home, right? Of course, he works now in the office of the Speaker, House Speaker Richard Nangbe-Kong. We'd like to say good morning to all of you, our cherished and our valued listeners. It's 14 minutes past 8 o'clock. So on last week, we got a call from the Liberia Maritime Authority, Lima, Lima, that's how they're called. They've scheduled a relay on Prime FM for today, the 29th of September. But unfortunately, on last night, they had to call in and say they've rescheduled, and I was completely mad, And let me say for the record, people should learn to understand that the job we do is with plenty. Well, quite interestingly, I must applaud an institution to call way in advance and book a show and say, yeah, on Monday we won't book the show. All is set, all is ripe and ready. Send your invoice, And then unfortunately, when you call the people in the dime minute on Saturday, I call no call, no call, no text, no answer. Right? No call, no text, no answer. Just at 8:26, 8:23 last night was when I got the text message that, we are sorry that we can't show up. The show has been rescheduled. These people must understand that the job that we do is a very dedicated job. We have ardent followers. And I'm not going to take the blame. I know sometimes people say, but man, why you pour under the boss? Yes, because we as talk show hosts know what it means to feed our followings and our followers every morning. When you do not behave responsible, we have to do it that way. And I must say it. We planned in advance. We planned in advance to get our guests. It's not easy. Sometimes we literally beg people just to show up on these shows. Why is it? Because we're in a competition, right? All of these radio stations here, all of the time you wake up in the morning, you swivel your way between different dials. It is about getting quality information and listening to quality guests, right? And to buy your participation, it depends on the subject. So it is not an easy thing. The weekend is not just all about resting, right? We don't just pick up time. Sometimes you think that we rest, but it's not just the case. Sometimes we are on social media. We are between different institutions, online, between different call-ins, making sure that we pick what is necessary for discussions, right? That's exactly what we do. And so when you just think that the job that we do is just an easy and ordinary thing, and think that, it's just easy to just say our apologies, we'll reschedule, and think that we wouldn't talk about it, we will talk about it. People should learn to be responsible. People should learn to be to understand that these people are doing a piece of job. They owe it to the listeners, and to have a guest show on the Monday. Well, I have to say that Lima was responsible. Lima was responsible. I didn't like the way they acted, and I must be able to communicate that to them. If you are from the Liberia Maritime Authority, I'm so very displeased. I'm so very unhappy that you did that to us. In the 9 minute, for your communication person to send a text message at 8:26 and say, oh, we are sorry. When I've been calling you since Saturday, and you were not able to say that, oh, we've rescheduled, then we would have had, at least we would have left time ahead enough for us to be able to say, we can be able to fetch a guest, we can be able to get a guest. But regardless of it, we brace ourselves for these circumstances. Again, it is what it is. It's a guest sure, but you wouldn't want to miss out, as always. My name is Kelvin Dehmey, and I'm right here to drive you through straight up to a sign of time. Today is Monday, the 29th day of September. It's the last Monday in the month of September. Tomorrow is the last day in the month of September. And then on Wednesday, midweek, is the 1st of October. We'd like to say good morning to all of you. We are so energized. This is what we brace ourselves for. We prepare for this with these kinds of situations. So I hope you had yourself a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Again, Denicius is out of the country, should be on his way by today, hopefully on tomorrow. Like he mentioned, should be here on tomorrow or at most on Wednesday. Denicius is in Algeria. They went for the FC Facel versus MC. Is it the name? MC Algiers. Unfortunately, our Facel FC was beaten 3-0. 3-0. But before that, our wise words this morning, it says, plants that God favor grows without rain. Well, I love this. The plants that God favor grows without rain. The plants that God favor grow without rain. Well, I hope you got that. Under our health tape, the benefits of walking, as in WALKING, not WORKING. WALKING, walking. WALKING, the benefits of walking. What happens to your body when you walk daily? Just 30 minutes every day can increase the cardiovascular fitness, strengthen bones, reduce excess body fat, and boost muscles power and endurance. So I hope you got that. There are some of you, if not most of you, who believe that walking is old-version, is old-fashioned. We say that at times. Oh, I won't walk. Sometimes, most times, I've always programmed myself that way. Except under extreme circumstance, right? Except under extreme circumstance. For instance, when I get a call, to go somewhere quickly, then I'll have to get on a car and go. But in most cases, I walk my ways just right in Central Monrovia. From the office here at Prime House on Benson Street, I walk Center Street, Gurley, Buchanan, Mecklin, Broad, different parts of Broad, in all of these different streets. I walk. It's very healthy a thing to do. Even in my community, sometimes I take walk long distances, 10 minutes, 15, 20, 30 minutes. Is very good a thing. Sometimes just to go and buy. I have encounters with some friends, and what do they say? Oh man, I get on back. I ride. Well, it's a good thing, but it depends. Not every time, not every time, you should get on car, you should get on keke. Especially we find this amongst quote unquote big girls, right? They don't like to walk in the name of, when people see me walking, it looks so demeaning, it looks so condescending, it looks so degrading. Nah, I don't think so. It's healthy a practice to do, to walk. To walk is good to think. Especially with those of us with the sedentary lifestyle. Sedentary means, you're just sitting in just one position over and over. Some of you are not working, but all you do is you just sit, sleep, eat, watch movies. From your house, you're sitting or you're sleeping. You get into the bathroom. Maybe the only time you walk is when you call for a bucket of water. Some of you are like that. You call for a bucket of water. Hey, Chion Bobby, bring me the bucket of water. Praise me, bring me the bucket of water. From there, you go into the bathroom. From the bathroom, you take a shower. And then you leave for town, maybe for school, especially. And then you're in your classroom. If there are break periods in between, you go and sit to the student center, and then you sit there all day. You go back for your last class or your last classes, and then when you're done, you get on keke from just right in front of your campus, or you get on the back from just right in front of your campus to the parking station. You get on a taxi, you get on a bus, and then you leave for home. Then you go back, you're just sleeping in the name of your big girl. And this is specifically amongst ladies, right? So take up some time and walk. It's not old-fashioned. It's not old-version. It's healthy, I think. It's healthy, I think. On housekeeping this morning, we've come to say to you that don't just call people on video when you do not have their permission, regardless of your relationship with them. Many a times I see people do that. And sometimes I hear people frowning on that. Sometimes I'm in the companies of certain persons, not necessarily high profile persons, but middle class persons, lower class person, and then I hear people bashing at people. But how you just call me on video? Nah. Particularly when you don't have it like that, there are exceptions. If it is your wife, if it is your girlfriend, if it is your father, but regardless, if your husband or your wife is in a high profile position, sometimes it's good to text. That's the most common thing to do, regardless of your proximity, of your closeness, or your relationship with that person. It's good to text. Honey, can I call you on video? Are you in a position for us to talk on video? You don't know the position of that person, right? You don't know people's position. Some persons, then the worst case is that some people, their first time interacting with you, they want to call you on video. Oh gosh, hell no. How can you do that? Your first time interacting with people, you can't do a video call. Learn to write people, regardless of your relationship. Whether you are a wife wanting to call your husband, whether you're a husband wanting to call your wife, I can understand that there are a few exceptions, right? Right, with wife, husband. But regardless, even your husband, sometimes, you just text, especially when you are aware that he is at work, text. No, can I call you? Worst case, if it is your first time interacting with that person, it's good to think to just send a text message. Hi, is this Kelvin? Yes, sir. Can I call you on video? And then Kelvin will say, yes, sure. You can call me on video. But some of you, you're just careless. You're just reckless about it. You just call anytime, because you feel like you have it. The worst case is with the people who don't have it. So that's it with housekeeping this morning. What's the first thing for discussion? Of course, I know the Chief Justice issue is under consideration, but of course, we go to the lower hanging issues. We can delve into that, and then we'll open the lines for about 30 minutes for your interaction this wonderful, wonderful morning. The Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency says it has arrested 6 female drug dealers in a random ghetto raid in Montserrat County and its environs. The suspects are currently behind the Monrovia Central Prison, awaiting trial for illegal possession of narcotics, a non-bailable offense under the Liberia's new drug law. The arrested individuals and their seized substances include Nooch Aldrich. Do you people know her? Nooch Aldrich. I'm told she's 30 years old. Arrested with 63 grams of Kush, Kush. Masa Kamara, who is age 22, arrested with 25 grams of marijuana. And Wede Tie, who is 30 years of age, arrested with 22 grams of marijuana. There are still others. Elizabeth Doe, 23 years of age, arrested with 62 grams of Kush. Priscilla Kofi, 19 years of age, arrested with 63 grams of marijuana. And Masa Dansare, age 35, arrested with 37 grams of Kush. Like I've always mentioned, the fight against drugs or the war against drug is something that is collective. It's very collective. It must be collectivism to include the political will, and the political will is from the presidency. It is contingent on how much seriousness the president shows with his fight against drug. or a president shows with a fight against drug, in this case is President Boakai, the kind of seriousness that President Boakai shows in the fight against drug is how the folks at the LDEA would take it seriously. They are playing their part, and we must be able to commend the folks at the LDEA. True or false? I know at times we say, when leaders take office, there's exuberance, there's too much enthusiasm, and along the way it dies. Of course, it happens. But let's be practical. Let's be honest. What are some of the reasons why this zest dies? Sometimes, of course, on the part of the leader, in the case of the LDA, is to show off that I can fight, I can do it, and then along the way, they get compromised, right? They get compromised. They are tampered with. Then they water down the zest, they water down the tempo, they water down the fight against drug. Let's be fair, sometimes it happens. And not just at the LDA, it happens at areas, at different institutions. Of course, sometimes the zest is continuous, but it is contingent on the will. It comes again from the powers that be. And the powers that be, they're not just the presidency. Of course, the president has a greater share, or entirely, the president has a greater share in the honest fight against drug. But then it comes with his lieutenants, some of the people closest rather to the presidency, some of the powerful persons, some of the people in the corridors of power. So let us not preempt. This is something that we do not wish for, that Fitzgerald Biago is going to water down, or the zest is going to get killed, or is going to die down along the way. Let us not just say that is what we call a fiasco, but no man, later on you water down. No, this is not something that I personally pray for. This is not something that I personally wish for. I pray that from the level of the presidency and the people in the corridors of power should do all they can to empower Fitzgerald Biago and his team. He's doing a marvelous work. He's doing a tremendous work. He's doing a magnificent work. I mean, look at the listing. There's a regular updates, especially since he took office. I'm not very sure that he's made 1 month, right? I stand to be corrected. If he has made, maybe it's 1 month or thereabout. But regardless, with the relatively short period of time, come to think about the kind of work that he's doing. He's not just fighting the people. The drug war is not just for the dealers, the lords, the traffickers. It is even from within. And I'm happy that most of what I preempted, most of the assessments, the analysis that we made on entirely the fight against drug are the very things. You see, we're trying to clean up the mess with inside the LDA, like we talked about, and like we're still talking about. Remember the news about dismissing and putting under suspension or reprimanding the folks at the airport? In connection with this whole drug thing, under declaration, meaning when they catch about 60 kilograms or 60 grams of marijuana or kuch or drug, they declare maybe 40 or 43 or 35 or thereabout. We talked about that, and we will keep talking about that. The public is watching. The folks out there, they're looking up to you in making sure. Now, I know that there are times I get, calls from the general public. I get calls from people out there. Well, we're great, sure. But Kelvin, and let me say to Fitzgerald Biago and the team there at the LDA, you're still under scrutiny. Some persons are watching. They have a lot of information. A lot. I get these impressions. I get these calls. Confidentially, I get memes. I'm told about John Brown, Mary Massa, Peter Paul, Annie Doe, different names I get for examples. But then I'm told that we are waiting and we are looking to see the trend, whether he's not going to get compromised along the way. Because we don't want to call names. Kelvin Dehmey want to go call name and say Peter Paul or Mary Brown is a drug dealer and we have all of the information. to show you proof at the LDEA that these persons or this person is involved into drug trafficking, and along the way the person comes back. This is the case with the previous administrators or administrations at the LDA. That's the case. That's how it has been. So for the issue about public confidence, it is contingent on how the president roll out his honesty in the fight against drug, empowers the LDA, and by that it transcends to the continuation of the fight, the honest fight against drug with Fitzgerald Biago and his team. People are watching. Every morning they swivel between different dials and they hear these kinds of good news thus far. They're still waiting. They want to see public confidence. The people you arrested, right? Yeah, the names. You know, the people you arrested. Nooch Aldrich, 30 years of age. And these are young people, folks. Nooch Aldrich, 30 years of age. In the quarter with 63 grams of kush. Massa Kamara, 22. What? And the other person is wedded here. 30 years of age. You know, Elizabeth Doe, 23, 60 grams of kush. Priscilla Kofi, 19 years of age. Could you imagine? 19 years of age. The highest is a Massa Dansari, who is 35. She looks foreign. You know, the name sounds foreign. But the rest of the other persons there, I'm told that they are all Liberians. Very young persons, 19 years of age, 23 years of age, 22 years of age, 30 years of age. Very young persons. It has to stop. A lot of these people, we live in the community with them. We don't see them getting there early in the morning like the way some of us, we have an obligation to serve the public, to go to school, to go to work, to hustle. And all of everybody in the community, the thing about it, to know about how people are into drugs is easy. It's not hard. All Liberians are anticipating is the continuation of this fight. Once it goes for the next 1 year, trust me, believe you me, by the time the LDEA comes on the radio and say, listen, these are the hotlines. Prime FM, A radio station, B radio station, C radio station. These are the hotlines. We want people to call in and say to us the names of people that they suspect of doing drugs in their community. Those lines will be flooded. I get those impressions. I get those kinds of calls on a regular, weekly basis. And the people are willing to. The only thing here they are afraid of, Fitzgerald Biago, let me say this to you, is that they are afraid that when they call these names, some of these very drug lords, some of these very dealers, some of these traffickers will come back in the community beating their chest, bragging. You think that they could do anything to me? I'm back. I got connections. And this is existentially resting on the shoulder of Mr. President Joseph Bioma Boakai on his fight. Along the way, we will know. So these names are all out, and we are told that it's a non-billable offense, and we hope that they be prosecuted under the laws. Coming back in the community, Mr. Biago, it comes on you. It shows that put a lot of people in skepticism, and we will get the cause. Now, hey, so it's one thing to say that John Brown was caught with drug, and we hope that these persons were. Let's do due diligence to come back in the community that they live with people, and these people know them. I mean, it undermines the fight against drug. And when these people come back in the community, it undermines your entire administration. So while it is true that we are commending you for the kind of work done thus far, under a month or exactly 1 month, we look forward where you to be able to provide evidence, substantial evidence that's enough to be able to. And again, don't allow any of these quote unquote, because sometimes we are told that there are some lawyers, and we're not going to miss our words on that. We're told that some of the people there, they got connection with drug laws. It's unconfirmed, but we get these impressions. We get this news that some of the top lawyers, they're connected to these people. They do everything to have them bill out. Even though it's non-billable, but they bill out. They come back into the community, they brag. Sometimes they say loudly in this community that connection again, man. People here wasting their time. You call my name on radio, you will talk tired, no evidence. I got my papi there, I got my old man there. They say these things. They brag about how they have connections, even inside the very LDA. And they have relationships with some persons who are close, who are in the corridors of power. So, Mr. President, it's on you. We look forward to you to do all you can in making sure. So far, we want to commend you for the pick, and we want to commend Fitzgerald Biago for the kind of work that he's doing. It's marvelous. It's magnificent thus far. When you do the wrong thing, we'll sit behind these microphones and criticize you. You and your team, we just don't want to do it with you alone. We want to say thanks to the LDA for the kind of marvelous works done there at your institution. In another news, the Liberia Immigration Service has with immediate effect disrobed one of its officers, Edward Dagoze, following his recent arrest in connection with an alleged drug trafficking case in Grand Cape County. Well, this was a conversation with Prime FM on last Friday. LIS spokesperson Laureen Masakwe-Page said Dagoze was apprehended by the Liberian Joint Security Forces on Thursday, September 25, 2025 in Tierney, Grand Cape County. Laureen Masakwe-Page mentioned that the Joint Security preliminary findings revealed that Edward Dagoze was found in possession of 48 boxes containing 480 scripts amounting to approximately 48,000 tablets suspected of being illicit substances. This is what the LIS told us through a spokesperson. There is a particular reason why I brought this out. Do you know why? Remember some weeks back, I talked about this issue about giving this issue about, I'm trying to find a word. What's the word? Comfortable to a particular position. My information is that Dagoze, I stand to be corrected, but what people told me is that Dagoze is from Grand Cape County. You know, it comes back for those of you who followed the show, who followed my conversations. In previous broadcasts, I mentioned something that we should not allow officers, not just necessarily LDA officers, but generally officers to be acclimatized or comfortable or accustomed to just one position. Didn't I say that? I did say it. Part of the information, part of the intel is that the mayor is from Grand Cape County, and because the mayor is from Grand Cape County, we thought that the mayor is assigned in Grand Cape County for a protracted period of time. He gets accustomed, he gets comfortable, he gets used to a lot of. Maybe somebody needs to convince me on why shouldn't people be accustomed to just one position, to just station to one area. I can understand. There are some reasons why people should be there, but you should not just change people, like every month, every 2 months, every 3 months, maybe every 6. Yeah, you can. But I'm concerned about how is it that some people take 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. They're very familiar. When you're traveling through the borders of our country, whether it's by airport, whether it's by sea, we see these people. When you're going through Liberia to Sierra Leone border, if you are a regular and frequent travelers from that point, you are accustomed to, you can put a face at certain persons. Right, so? Between Liberia, for those of you who will do trade on a regular basis between Liberia and Sierra Leone, there are some security persons you can put a face at. When they come to Central Monrovia, you see them in Waterside, you say, oh, I know you. From where? From the border. Familiar. Accustomed. It's not supposed to be so. Liberia, Guinea border, you can put a face at some persons there. Liberia, Ivory Coast border, you can put a face at some persons there. I traveled sometimes almost 2 months ago. I've been into Buyao Butro, the Liberian border with the Ivory Coast. There's a border crossing point there, a legal border crossing point. I've been there at most 4 times. And the people that I saw to our border, they always there. The people that I see to the Ivory Coast side, when you ferry yourself across, you can't recognize them so easily. They are on a rotational basis. That is the case with Liberia. Sometimes you take the man from Grand Cape Mount, you carry him Nimba. Sometimes you take the man from Nimba, you carry him. I mean, we have relatives who are in the security outside of Liberia. My brother, for instance, is in the U.S. Army. He gets rotated on a yearly basis. Sometimes every 2 years, they're rotating. They'll take him from Michigan post and take him to Detroit. Sometimes they leave from Detroit. They go to Charlotte in North Carolina to the command post there. They take you, carry you to another place. They don't make you comfortable. You know, the people who travel frequently to other airports like Ghana, like the La Côte d'Ivoire, you know, in other countries, Nigeria, they don't get used to seeing the same people over and over and over and over. The case with Liberia is different. Traffic assignment. There are officers who are just in one position 2, 3, 4, 5 years. We are just used to seeing one traffic officer. That's the only traffic officer we get, folks. That's the only people we get that we train to do traffic officer jobs. Just right here to the intersection of on the bypass there to a techno house, you get accustomed to just one person's, to just group of persons over and over and over and over. At least on a yearly basis, you can rotate these people. So that's it. That's part of the information we got. But again, we want to say thanks to the folks at the LIS for the work done, for the kind of work done. Now we move on to the civil service. We'll close out with the Joy Yami basic thing. Don't worry about that. Get your views on it, right? What is it? It's about 44. That's 15 minutes to 9 o'clock. We still have more time. The civil service. What's my producer? I hope the producer can be able to play. My producer can come and play this voice quickly for me, Tio. It says here the Civil Service Agency has released findings from its personnel verification credentials audit of the Liberia Agriculture, Commodity and Regulatory Authority, including the Corporate Development Agency, LACRA and CDA. The Liberia Agriculture, Commodity and Regulatory Authority, including the Corporate Development Authority Agency, the CDA and LACRA. CDA and LACRA, respectively. So that is exactly what they've done. They've investigated and they've come out with the finding. Releasing the report over the weekend at the Ellen Joseph Relief Ministerial Complex in Congo Town, CSA Director General Josiah Jokai. Follow the details, folks. Follow the details. It says here, 76 out of 91 staff on government's payroll were physically verified. I repeat, 76 out of 91 staff on government's payroll were physically verified. Why unverified employees were considered as potential ghost names, as well as 10 employees with no required credentials. You got the CSA boss clip there. You play later on. So you can do the mathematics. Releasing the report over the weekend at the Ellen Joseph Relief Ministerial Complex in Congo Town, CSA Director Josiah Jokai said 76 out of 91 staff on government's payroll were physically verified, while unverified employees were considered as potential ghost names, as well as 10 employees with no required credentials. I hope you understand what that means. Jokai mentioned that at least 54 personnel are well placed based on their credentials, and 22 employees are currently underqualified and misplaced in positions that are inconsistent with their qualifications, proposing reclassification. According to Jokai, his findings uncovered 61 personnel are males and 15 employees are females, which reflects serious gender imbalance at the Liberia Agriculture, Commodity and Regulatory Authority. And I'll tell you why I picked this. But let's listen to Jokai, right? And we'll make some analysis on some of the issues there.
Our verification process at LACRA cover the assessment, the review, the verification of personnel records, a physical hair count, the photographing, scanning of credentials to make sure they are authentic based on barcode confirmations, and those that require to be set aside and sent forward for third-party authentication, and the possible recommendation that will lead to so many human resource action. So here are the key findings. Workforce verified. Out of 91 staff on the payroll, a total of 76 were physically verified. Many they appear in person. We saw them, we took their pictures, we interacted with them, and we also look at their records. 6 employees were unverified, meaning they did not appear, no records, no photo takings, and they are still being flagged as possible ghost employees until proven otherwise. Of that number, there are also 10 employees constituting 13.2% that had no formal qualifications, meaning they don't have any professional and academic credentials. 2 employees constituting 2.6% presented unverifiable documents that are currently under investigation. We have done the scanning. That's when we knew that they have issues. We set them aside and we have to cross-check with the institutions from which they claim to have obtained them. 64% of employees representing 84.2% presented valid, verifiable credentials. So placement and role alignment are 54 employees who are regularly placed, meaning they are in roles consistent with their backgrounds and their qualifications. 54. They possess credentials that match those roles and experience to serve in those roles. However, there are 10 employees that are misplaced in roles inconsistent with qualifications, meaning they are underqualified or unqualified for those roles that are serving. So it is even further defined, and I'll repeat that. 10 employees are misplaced in roles inconsistent with their qualifications. But there are 12, and we've got to be specific about that. There are 12 that are underqualified for their current positions. So you have a total of 22. 10 don't have qualifications for their roles. 12 are underqualified for those roles. That's critical. Attendance and discipline. 19 employees, according to the records, were absent for 3 to 6 days in June and July, 2 months. Our verification process at LACRA cover the assessment, the review, the verification of personnel records, the physical hair count, the photographing, scanning of credentials to make sure they are authentic based on barcode confirmations, and those that require to be set aside and sent forward for third-party authentication, and the possible recommendation that will lead to so many human resource action. So here are the key findings. Workforce verified. Out of 91 staff on the payroll, a total of 76 were physically verified. Many they appear in person. We saw them, we took their pictures, we interacted with them, and we also look at their records. 6 employees were unverified, meaning they did not appear, no records, no photo takings, and they are still being flagged as possible ghost employees until proven otherwise. Of that number, there are also 10 employees constituting 13.2% that have no formal qualifications, meaning they don't have any professional and academic credentials. 2 employees constituting 2.6% presented unverifiable documents that are currently under investigation. We have done the scanning. That's when we knew that they have issues. We set them aside and we have to cross-check with the institutions from which they claim to have obtained them. 64% of employees representing 84.2% presented valid, verifiable credentials. So placement and role alignment. There are 54 employees who are regularly placed, meaning they are in roles consistent with their backgrounds and their qualifications. 54. They possess credentials that match those roles and experience to serve in those roles. However, there are 10 employees that are misplaced in roles inconsistent with qualifications, meaning they are underqualified or unqualified for those roles that are serving. So it is even further defined, and I'll repeat that. 10 employees are misplaced in roles inconsistent with their qualifications. But there are 12, and we've got to be specific about that. There are 12 that are underqualified for their current positions. So you have a total of 22. 10 don't have qualifications for their roles. 12 are underqualified for those roles. That's critical. Attendance and discipline. 19 employees, according to the records, were absent for 3 to 6 days in June and July, 2 months.
Okay, so you got it right there. I hope you got it. I hope you heard it. That's the voice of Josiah Jokai, the head of the CSA. We give you an analysis. We give you the stats as reported by the CSA. And now, let me say this. There are different reasons, right? Of course, a lot of us can say, "Oh, we're taking people out of job. You know, we're fighting the previous administration." Yeah, some of these things could be correct. You know, but my information is that, and some of these things may not be correct, entirely may not be correct. There are a few issues. We look forward where they and many a times I don't get this feedback. So the CSA will say, for example, if Prime FM was an institution under the government, under the jurisdiction of the CSA, let's use the government institution, like the case with LACRA, because LACRA is the one under discussion. So my understanding, and this is how it should be, except this was not the case. Now I look forward where the victims or the persons who were unjustifiably removed or taken from the listing can be able to say, no, this was not the case. The first thing is that the CSA has the right to do what she is doing. True or false? That's one. The CSA got an information that there were lots and lots of persons on the payroll. Of course, LACRA is under a new administration. Quite recently, the boss there was dismissed. We followed that story, right? So the new administration, my understanding was that the institution ain't making much, but the payroll is bloated, is flooded with too many people. Some of these persons, according to information, were brought in by the managers of the institutions before, and the mayor who was just dismissed or relieved of his post by the president. That's the information I'm getting from the folks there. Even before the CSA took the action. So LACRA is saying, how much do we have in the budget? Most of our money will go to salaries. We get too many people here. We get too many people. And the money that the government gave us is small. And most of the money that we supposed, some of the times that we're supposed to go on operations, we can, because we have to pay salaries. And there are some people here, it's not only LACRA, the case with several institutions. You got too many people to these institutions, most of whom are doing absolutely nothing. We live in communities where we see people, they are telling you that they are working with government institutions, whether at the National Fire Service, whether at the Ministry of National Defense, whether at the Ministry of Agriculture, whether at LACRA, whether at CDA, CSA, and several government institutions, but they're home. But at the end of the month, guess what? They take their salaries. Has it happened before? Yes, it has happened before. Some of us, honestly, we have our relatives, our loved ones who are benefiting from state coffers that they're not working for, they don't deserve. But by the time they take them off government's payroll, then we consider it as witch hunt. Don't we have those people? Let's be honest to ourselves. We have those people. So the information was that CSA wrote, which is what they normally do. CSA will write so that it does not look like they're witch hunting. CSA will write and say, listen, LACRA, not necessarily that we got an information, but we're doing payroll verification and personnel audits at different institutions of government. So the case with LACRA, we say, for example, we'll come there October, or we in September, right? We'll come in there September 1. Sometimes those letters are written a week or 2 or 3 weeks in advance, or 1 month in advance. The essence of writing is to inform the institution so that the institution passes the information to all of its employees. Of course, when they're doing payroll verification and personnel verification, the reason why the CSA must leave time enough ahead to inform the institution is for the institution to put her house in order. Because some of these institutions, all of these employees are not just stationed right in Monrovia. Of course, like the case with the LIS, the Liberia Immigration Service. Let's take the Liberia Immigration Service. Let's take the LDA, the security institutions. The security institution, all of these employees cannot just be in Monserrato. The DA will have commander in Nimba. DA will have commander in Lofa, in Grenjide, in Bapolu. The LDA command. So if the CSA is doing a payroll, a personnel verification, they will have to see these persons in persons. They will have to see these people physically. That's how they do it. So that's part of the reasons why you have to write time ahead to have the institution informed. So that it cannot look like which one. In my understanding is that was done. If that was not done, we look for where the folks, the victims can say we were never informed. And now when CSA informs the institution, like the case with LACRA, and LACRA is the Liberia Agricultural Commodity and Regulatory Authority, LACRA. When the CSA informs LACRA, because LACRA is under scrutiny, is under the spotlight right now, it is for LACRA now to inform its employees that CSA has written, and they said they will be here the second week in September or the third week in September. That entire period, they want to verify all of the employees. The CSA is saying that if we get an employee in Sano County or in the southeast or northern Liberia, they must come to our head office right here at Freeport or the industrial center there, free zone, right? Other ways, other CSA will say, we'll go to your stations, we'll go to the cells that you have in the different parts of Liberia. We'll go there, we'll send our team there to verify. They don't have to come to Monrovia. Or the CSA will say they can come to Monrovia to verify. And to come to Monrovia will mean that they have to adduce a certain kind of documents to substantiate that they are civil servants. That's what they do. So in this case, the CSA said 76 out of 91 staff of government or on government's payroll were physically verified. So you do the mathematics. How many present? So the original listing obtained by the CSA was that the LACRA has 91 staff, but only 76 persons showed up. According to him, the whereabouts is unknown. Secondly, they realized on the payroll ghost names, meaning there are people who money is being paid to their accounts, who are receiving government salaries, but they can't be able to show them. Don't these things work? These things started from the days of former presidents Ellen Johnson Sirleaf to Mr. George Weah, and now under current Mr. Boakai. So that's why the CSA is saying that we want to clean the mess. We want to clean the system. The CSA also said that we decided to reclassify, meaning they went and gave job to Kelvin Dehmey for a qualification that he does not have. They put him in a position with no qualification for that job. Don't these things happen? I'm asking you, don't these things happen? Nepotism. We put our family, Kelvin Dehmey is the general manager or is the head of LACRA. You go and bring a man, put a man there. And sometimes on party mandates, these are political too as well. We go remove people on the job, and then the party chairman will call and say, listen, my man, the pressure on me. And he say every day people to the party headquarters. My man, I send it 20 persons. I'm sending 20 persons. I know how you money, but I got to get these people off my back. So these are part of the reasons for reclassification, because of party politics too as well. We know. We see people in positions that they're not qualified for only because they were loud Murphy under the previous administration and even this current administration. We know that. So the CSA is trying to clean the mess, except that it should not be political. You remove somebody, you remove Kelvin Dehmey because you say you're not qualified for the position, then you go and take another person there. When we get that information, we'll say it out. I'm not going to miss my words on that. But so far, if they're doing it on a meritorious system, they are right for doing it. But you don't take one unqualified person from the position and then you bring another unqualified person there. When we get that information, we'll report that. But as far as I'm concerned, if this is merit-based, this is the right thing to do. I can recall under former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, George Konisaya Warner. And that's part of the problems we have with the system, education. That's why the system is rotten. That's why Liberia ain't gonna go anywhere with this whole field system, a messy education system. Because I can remember when he came, he said he wanted to clean the mess. He said teachers should set exams. Teacher fought, wrote the party, blasted our former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. He said, no, you will see what I mean, how is this the way to re-elect leaders? I don't get this part. If jobs should be given to people who are merit-based, and if we say we are qualified for the job, how is it that we can get there when people say they want to test our qualifications? I don't get that part. And then we say, now you'll see whether we want, whether you will be re-elected. When you move off from here, you'll see whether you'll be re-elected. The Yana boys will say that. But when we go in other countries, when you take a Yana boy from Liberia, you carry the Yana boy in other countries, the Yana boy admire the systems. Ghana, for example, right next door, we admire Ghana. We admire other countries. We say the people's streets clean. Why it is true that we need to have places, even when the government makes a market right now, I say, what to relocate, some people believe that they should be in Central Monrovia at all cost. People threaten the system and say, no, we should not leave. When we leave, we'll not elect the government. We'll not remove, we'll not be re-elected. The people can't take spoon from our mouths. That's what they say. That's what they do, right? They threaten the re-election of governments. So it is not existential, it's just the power. It is just all about what? It is also the system. We, the people, not willing for change. So this is the case. Now, another important point here raised, which is considered for conversation, is that meanwhile, Jokai has recommended several sweeping reforms. According to Jokai, his finding uncovered 61 personnel are males and 15 employees are females, which reflects serious gender imbalance at the Liberia Agricultural, Commodity and Regulatory Authority. 61 males, according to the verified listing. They said there are 61 males and 15 employees are females. Right? So what it means that there are more men there, far way more men than women. It's a gender imbalance. But you know, sometimes too, let's call a spade a spade. Most of our women, they don't want to do certain job. Let's be honest. Sometimes the reasons for imbalance is not necessarily that the men want to show a domineering role, at institutions. Yeah. Not that they don't, or they want to. It is because the inavailability of women, the lack of interest. It is a known fact that most women don't want to do this job. They consider these jobs are dirty jobs. Even if you go into the classrooms, will you hold, for example, Stella Maris, a Polytech, LOIC, is also a technical school. LOIC is a technical school. MVTC. When you go to the technical schools, right? There are more in the classrooms. That one you can't hold the school responsible. Electricity. Men there will be more than the women, true or false. Stella Maris, electricity, carpentry. Into these polytechs and technical schools, the men there will be more than the women. When you go into, for example, AMEU, UMU, University of Liberia, AME Zion, where they're doing business, the women, of course, will be more, or they will be almost equivalent to the men. Why? Because they feel that the job is a clean job. Sociology, women will be there. Business administration, women will be there. IT, women will be there. More women, almost an equivalent number with the men. You find the competitive numeracy or numbers equivalent to the men. They will be there in those classrooms. But when you go to the technical schools, do a survey into the technical schools, the women will be far way more less than the men. In the agriculture, the women are far way more less than the men. So I don't get it when people say, I can understand this gender imbalance as per the stats, But it's not that the men are discouraging the women from, even here on the line. Open the line. This is one country where we, as talk show hosts, we can name the number of female callers to our fingertip. In other countries, it is unlikely. Memesi Kaba, Peter Lynn Peters. Besides that, who else can call? The whole country, major talk show, Memesi Kaba, Peter Lynn Peters. And are the two notable people we know in the whole country, female, in the whole country, with more than 5 million persons. Ask any talk show host, the most familiar female voices in the Republic of Liberia that will flood the line, as far as we're concerned, notably, there are 2 females. Even when you open the line for male to call, when you open the line for female to call, the women still don't call. So how is it that we are disparaging, we're discouraging the women? I don't get that part. I don't get that part. So they're just lacking interest in certain things. I know how many persons I've encouraged to do agriculture, and they say, oh, no, man, I want to do agriculture, man. But I can admire women who are into agriculture and making money. So why the CSA is doing, to close up on this, why the CSA is doing her job, we need to recommend career education, like it is the case in other countries. I think this is the bottleneck. The Ministry of Education needs to develop a system where there can be career education, because a lot of us graduate from high schools without knowing what we want to do. Some of us are influenced, our career are influenced by what we see other people doing, not per this whole issue about conviction. We're not conviction based. It is not on conviction. It is not like, Kelvin Dehmey, I want to be journalist. From high school, I want to be journalist. Kelvin Dehmey, I want to be a carpenter. This is what I want to do. This is what will provide earn. This is what I have passion for. Kelvin Dehmey, I want to be an agriculturist. Masa Jaleba, I want to be a lawyer. I want to be an electrician. Just very few women. We need to provide education, career education in high schools, maybe from 10th grade, 11th grade, where we'll have, career counselor providing guidance for the pupils, the students, on the different vocations, the different careers. What is it all about? The benefits, the advantages and the disadvantages. And then students will have an enlightenment to go into the broader society before graduation. By the time they get in 11th grade, they already have an idea on what they want to do. They know exactly where they fit. Career counselor can be able to provide guidance. Do we have that? Altogether, we can blame the students. We can blame the younger generation. We are lacking these things. So we'll just listen to Kelvin Dehmey on the radio and say, yeah, I like the way the guy sound, man. I want my son to be a journalist. I want my son to be a talk show host. I like the way the guy read the news, or I like the way the girl read the news. I like the way she reads the news. And I want my daughter to be. And whereas the daughter won't do totally different thing. I want my daughter to be a nurse. But daddy, I want to be a nurse. How many persons want to be teachers in our country? A lot of persons don't want to be teachers, especially female teachers. We believe that it's a poor vocation. We believe that it's a poor career. So we have to hasten. We have to be able to enlighten, to educate our society so that people can go into areas. The agriculture. Who told you agriculture is a poor job? I've sat with people. I've interacted with people. When you travel, it's a very rich job. What about sanitation? What about sanitation? Sanitation. Jospon Group of Company in Ghana. The owner of Jospon Group of Company is a doctor. He earns his money from what? He's a multi-millionaire in Ghana from dirt. Dirt. The dirt we can be throwing. Feces. Dirt. We'll find some time and tell you who is this guy. Dirt. He's a multi-millionaire in Ghana. Dirt. Recycling dirt. Had a conversation with him. What did he say? There is no dirt that is a dirt. I took that from him. A multi-millionaire. There is no dirt that is a dirt. No dirt is a dirt. The one we call feces, poo-poo. He turns it into charcoal. The water that stinks, smells from the truck, why it is going to the dump site there in Soniwe or in Jamaica Road, that water is turned into fertilizer. That stink. The stench is turned into fertilizer. The bottle, the sachet of water is turned into plastic dustbin. Hey, my people, multi-millionaire. How many persons will want a career, will want a vocation into waste management? You introduce that course now, a lot of people wouldn't, and you can't blame people because they do not have the education, the literacy on those kinds of career in our country. But it's a multi-million-dollar job. By the time you provide the sensitization, the education, people want to go deep into it. So that's the case with Liberia. So we just thought to touch base on these different aspects of our conversation. We will. So that's it with the CSA, the LACRA, which is the Liberia Agriculture Commodity, and the Regulatory Authority, including the Corporate Development Agency, the release on the findings and the reports, their investigation from there. So it's not just a one-way thing. It's different. Political is also responsible, lack of education and interest, lack of career counselor, and you just name the rest of it is they are all parts of. Now, what did Mr. Weah say? The former president of the Republic of Liberia, Mr. George Weah, came out. And what did he say? Chief? Hey, yeah? Okay, I think I got it right here. So let me play from online. Let me play from online. Ambassador Weah arrived in the country last Monday via the Rabat International Airport. Sedition had gone to welcome him in their numbers as always, And then on Wednesday, we woke up to the news of the former president, Ambassador George Manneh Weah, was gutted by fire. Right, so we got the news. The chairman mentioned Janga Ko upon an interview by Liberian journalists that the home of the president confirmed the news that the home, yes, of course, the home of the president was gutted by fire, and announced that in a public interview that the fire started from his bedroom. They are concerned, but also mentioned that the former president, is in good health. And of course, we all who witnessed the fire incident provided attestations that the former president, is in good health. Mr. Weah, his family, they're in good health. And as a matter of fact, the former president was not even at the house, at his home, his 9th Street residence. Upon getting called, he drove there, he and his wife, and other party members, supporters of the party, drove in there to witness what has happened. In a related development, the government issued statements. They announced that yes, the home of the former president was gutted by fire. They had dispatched 2 engines, one belonging to the LNFS, the Liberian National Fire Service, and the other belonging to LPRC. The fire gutted the home at about 12 something, and they were able to cut off the fire at about 1:20 something, thereabout. And the leader, during the early morning hours of Wednesday, went back to the home and asked as to whether they could do an investigation to find out the causes of the fire or the cause of the fire, but were denied admission into the premises, into the home of a former President George Weah, his 9th Street residence. So they tried to communicate that to the public. In a related development, I was on this radio on Friday, and I had a conversation with, was it Friday or Thursday? Can you help me? Was it Friday? It was on Thursday. I had an interview. I had a conversation with a 102, Colonel Nelson Freeman. Said that they sent team of men there to be able to guide the premises. He also talked about the airport incident, which is a separate conversation. But also in tune that they were denied from entry into the home of the former president. Mr. Gray call, there were other issues highlighted. We talked about the airport incident. He weighed in his view about what happened at the airport, which is not what we're going to delve into. But on the margin of what happened at the home of the standard bearer of the Congress for Democratic Change, the CDC, former President George Weah, he intoned. He said here emphatically that it was political. It was intended to take away the life of the former president. He didn't mince his words on that. It was targeted at former President George Weah. We just thought to do a rollover on that. But then on Sunday at his Fogliclaw Church, this is what Mr. Weah said. Let's listen to what the former president intoned in his sermon.
I wanted to know the decision she took and I followed. And my son will be at 12, up to 12 in someone called me that my house is burning on that street. And I said to God, glory be to God. They would have been worse. They would have been sleeping there and the fire of the night. So you can see, I listen to the preacher today. We come to church not for people. We come to church to glorify God. We come to church to tell God thank you for what He did in our life. We come to church to tell God that we agree that He is our guardian and He will take care of us. It would have been what? But God spoke through the word, and the word said to me. And sometimes we argue. So I didn't argue, and I showed. That's why we are not in trouble. They get some house. I remember when they chased me out of that house, they put it on fire. The house didn't come down. Yeah, the flames went up, but the house stayed there. It's the second time. What happened, we don't know. So, the only thing we can say, to God be the glory. So, God is back to see most of you. I know today is September 28th. So you got people that celebrating their birthday because this.
All right, so that's it. On the fire incident, Mr. Weah did not accuse anyone. Let's be clear here. Mr. Weah said that he's thankful to God Almighty first, and he's thankful to God Almighty for his wife, because his wife has said that we're not sleeping to 9th Street tonight. We're not sleeping to 9th Street tonight. We're sleeping here in rehab. So that was what his wife mentioned. So Mr. Weah said, you are not listening to your wife. It could have been worse. You know, so now it's good to listen to the women. You know, it's a very good thing to listen to women. Sometimes their instincts, God can work through our wives or our women sometimes. So now when a woman tells you, don't go out tonight, don't go out. When a woman tells you, say, sleep on this side tonight, you sleep there. Right? It's good to listen to our women. That's why the Bible says the two shall become one. So the whole thing here, Mr. Weah says here, is he's thankful to God Almighty for the preservation of their lives, because it could have been worse. But also, we look forward to the accusation levied by the CDC against the government. This is not something we should just treat as the normal political thing. The accusation levied that there were perpetrators, it was an orchestration of some elements of the government against the life of the former president. I too remain resolute on that. That since the CDC decided to, you can't outrightly say that they are wrong, right? It's a responsible party as far as we are concerned. It's a responsible party, the party that was just in leadership, and stalwarts of the party accused the government of being the orchestra. Don't forget. So this is something that should not be taken lightly. They also have the right to say, don't enter my house. Well, I don't know whether this can work in other countries like the US of A. I stand to be corrected. When we open the lines, we look for where other people can tell. A serious country where a fire takes place, and then Kelvin say, I look for an education on that. For Kelvin to say, no, you don't have the right. Don't investigate. But at the same time, we can levy accusations on other people. I repeat, can this happen in any serious country where fire catches somebody's home? The fire service, that is the legal authority, they say they won't go there to investigate. The owner of the property say, no, don't go there. Well, let's agree that it can be done. Let's agree that it can be done. But I also respect the decision of the CDC to call in for an independent investigation. I'm resolved on that. I also agree for the CDC to call in for an independent investigation because they believe that it was against their political leader. They do not trust the government's decision or outcome of whatever investigation inside of the home of the former president. But notwithstanding, we look for where an outcome of the investigation is unveiled to the public. That one thing I will remind them at least every month. I agree that they don't trust the independence of the LNFS, right? So howbeit, we look forward. Maybe they don't even need to announce who are the people that they brought into the country. But for the sake of independence, right? It is good to tell us after the investigation should have been concluded. We can say, for example, Smith's and Fire investigative team in South Africa or the USA from the UK, an institution that has credibility in over 50 years of fire management or fire investigation or firefighting, came into the country and conducted an investigation. And it was proven that somebody threw petrol bomb into the home of former President George Weah. And these are the pieces of evidence. We look forward to that. Notwithstanding, CCTV camera. And the good thing about it is that history doesn't die. We'll die, but history lives on. Former President Weah was the person who encouraged all of us, when the incident that happened to Gifty Lama and Abba Peters about having CCTV when the death was raging in our country, suspicious death was raging in our country. So we had talked about CCTV camera. We all mimic, we all play fun out of it. But there was one thing I said. For those of us with the capacity to have CCTV cams, we should. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Some people condemn, why did the president say? But at this point, since the president made that proclamation, the former president made that statement, guess what? There was an increase in the purchase of CCTV cameras. You can't forget about yourself. We can say all we want to say politically, why the president will be saying that kind of thing, because at that time he was the president. But it was a good thing. It was never a bad thing to have CCTV. The thing about CCTV, it is not just about political wish hunt. It is about knowing. We live a life where we will encounter thieves. So is it wrong to have CCTV installation? Especially when you are capacitated to do so, it is never wrong in the context of that conversation. So I've come to say, I at least want to think that Mr. Weah would not have CCTV. I drove around that area for one reason the other time, to see the installation. And good of it all, there's an installation of the CCTV camera there. So we expect that if anybody had gone there to throw petrol bomb, and the CCTV footage will carry the time and the date. I repeat, will carry the time and the date. The people who install CCTV will tell you that Monday anything happened. The case with the Echo Bank thing. You saw that? CCTV footage was clear. It was never blurred. It was clear. It captured real time. The day everything was there. The security went and subpoena the bank, asked for the CCTV footage for that day. The call that part. They couldn't go for the day before. The day happened, they asked for it. How the man enter, the places he passed, and his encounter with the lady behind her desk, right? So that is it. What is it? So it has to be corroborated. It has to be. It has to be corroborated. All of those pieces of information. We saw one guy threw the bomb in the mayor, in the former president. Yeah, all of those things will be corroborated to by the allegation levied against the government. We look forward to that. Now we go on to the last call in and have your say, but notwithstanding, the onus now is upon. We now leave from accusation level now. We need to go to a fact-finding level. They've accused the government of being the mastermind behind what happened, even though Mr. Weah hasn't said anything in relation to that. But the authorities of the party, they've accused the government, and they've said that we'll bring in, according to their statement that I read last week, we'll bring in independent forensic investigator to investigate the fire incident. So we look forward to an update on that. And we should encourage the CDC to provide us updates as the week unfolds on the status of that fire investigation, because it is concerning. The life of the former president, if it is threatened, it is concerning. We now move on to the next one. George Iyami Kwekwebese, what did he say? That's the latter one, and then we open the lines for your interaction. We want to play his statement right here for your listening pleasure. Let's listen to the Chief Justice. Let's listen to the Chief Justice quickly, folks. Let's listen. This is it.
Press people here.
Yes, Your
What I want to say.
I want to play the unedited, the raw one. What did he say? The one that is undoctored, right?
I want to press people to get it clear. But it's all over. People are calling me everywhere. Few weeks ago, I recommended some maestros to the president. Most of them were law school graduates, and few of them were not law school graduates. Among the maestro is my son. Basic. He just completed second year law school. Yeah.
So his son name is William Wagbese.
And to tell you, the president of Liberia appointed this. I received a letter from honor, your capacity as a president, that the president has appointed non-lawyer as a secondary magistrate and associate magistrate, and that was wrong, and that he wanted to intervene, advise the president. Next on Facebook, I saw the press release issue. But I appointed a son who is not a lawyer as a secondary magistrate. And the judge, so I got friends all over the world, everybody go, what? I said, well, thank God. I'm going to where her honor is. First and foremost, the law, the constitution of the country gave power to the president to appoint all presidential appointees. He doesn't have to get advice from anybody. But when it comes to the judiciary, you appoint the chief justice, associate justice, judges, magistrates, and associate magistrates. But when it comes to magistrates, the law says the secondary magistrate shall be a graduate of law school. So if the president appoints anybody who is not a graduate of law school, I, as a chief justice, will respectfully go to him, Mr. President, they want you in error. They just require law school graduate. But when it comes to associate magistrate, there is nothing in the law. The law is absolutely silent. And you must say, no, as lawyer, that what the law does not give, he holds. Meaning that the president of Liberia has authority to appoint anybody as an associate magistrate. And the lady sent to me, I don't see one person that the president appointed as secondary magistrate who is not a lawyer. But the 4 or 5 persons who were appointed as associate magistrate who are not a lawyer, That's what they put it. My son needs a second. My son is age, is a librarian. He is in law school. And I nominated to the president, and the president sees fit to appoint him. I do not see anything wrong with that, madam. Your Honor, I don't see anything wrong with that. The president is not wrong. He has not violated the law, so I cannot intervene, I cannot advise. Besides that, we say that my school and even high school who are still on judicial payroll. The fact that we decided we train college graduate to be associate magistrate because we cannot afford to get lawyer now, they not take the power from the president to appoint associate magistrate. And send the law did not say that he must be a law school graduate. He has the authority to do so. That's my interpretation of the law. That's my interpretation of the law. Besides that, appointing law school student as associate magistrate are precedent in this country. I practiced law for 27 years now, and I saw it and said, going on. So the president was not wrong in appointing my son. More besides, as I said, my son is a librarian, he got the job. If the question is why President is a chief justice and his son is also serving the government, then I will just refer you to yourself. They say, one who live in a glass house cannot trust you, right? Is it so? If you show one finger to somebody, four is showing to you. You are a resident judge. Your husband.
The papa get a resident judge saying, now rest he put a finger, he said, well, you oh, I love this part. Then let's go over this part.
Is it so? If you show one finger to somebody, four is showing to you. You are a resident judge. Your husband. Your husband. Councillor Aaron Paglin is assistant minister of taxation. His brother, Senator Paglin, is a member of the Good Government Commission. So if you say President Son cannot say, then you resign. Then you resign. I have not violated any law. The president has not violated any law. If you can serve the government, your husband serve the government, and your brother serve the government, then what's wrong with President Son serving the government when you qualify? If the president appointed him as a Supreme Court barrister, I will tell the president illegal. I will tell the president that. I done nothing wrong, my son, I done nothing wrong, and the president has done nothing wrong.
All right, so that's it right there. You heard it from the Chief Justice himself. You heard it from the Chief Justice himself. All right. So I'm not a legal person. I wouldn't say much. I'll just read the comments. And I'm also going to allow you to make your opinion. A lawyer, an attorney, a law Fambule writes, Fambule writes, Anthony Mohammed Fambule writes, he says, these are the laws violated. And you can also post your comments. I'm going to read them all out for you before we go to the lines and hear from our callers. We want to read your comments on social media. We want to read your comments on either of the issues that we raised. This is what Anthony Mohammed Fambule writes. He says, these are the laws violated. Section 9.7 of the Code of Conduct, which states, a public official may not appoint, employ, advance, or advocate for the appointment, employment, promotion, or advancement of a civilian or military position in the agency or branch of government in which he or she is serving or having jurisdiction or control any individual who is a relative. Do you understand this, folks? I don't have a position on this. I'm just there to inform you, and then you can have your different positions for or against. I go over this again. He sends me this. These are the laws violated. Section 9.7 of the Code of Conduct, which states, a public official may not appoint, employ, advance, or advocate for the appointment, employment, promotion, or advancement in a civilian or military position in the agency or branch of government in which he or she is serving, or have jurisdiction or control any individual who is a relative. It goes further. He admitted that the man is his son, and he recommended also. But chapter 7.6 of the judicial law was violated, according to Anthony Mohammed Famule. And this is where it says, the law requires for qualification of a magistrate to be licensed attorney. The same law requirement for secondary magistrate is applicable to the associate justice. So these are his 1 or 2 cents right here. We look forward to more and more and more comments. Let me announce the number. Can you just give it to me quickly? And then when we get through reading some of the comments on social media, we are certainly going to go strictly to, do we have it now? Do we have this now working? All right. Okay. I'm told by my producer that we have a Lone Star Cell MTM line. All right. Okay. So we're still working on that in the soonest possible time. But let's go to our official page. But just before that, surely we pick up your calls. And these are the numbers: 0778 460793, 0778 460793, 0778 460793, or 777-40-40-10. For those of you with WhatsApp, 777-40-40-10. The 777-40-40-10 is exclusively for WhatsApp. It's only for WhatsApp calls. Now let's go over to read you some of the comments here on our official page. Some of the comments here on our official Facebook page. Okay, City Geeks, right? He says, so what about appointed people by the president who are in government? Will the CSA has test for them, or will the CSA do test for them? J. William Yati is monitoring. Kanko Wallo says, my point is, why is he reading his own story? Conversation between him. I don't know. I don't get this part. Okay. No. He said, I think this was about the former president. He says, my point is, why is he reading his own story? Conversation between him and his wife. Okay, how? Okay, that's what this person wrote. Okay, let me see right here. Where is it? J. William Yanti Razakane Rice. Good morning to the Prime FM family. I'm following from Akira Street. Oluwale Malomo. Good morning, Prime FM family. Kanu Bati Kanu. Good morning, Prime FM family. Benjamin Kanabo. He writes from Sierra Leone. Good morning, Kelvin. I'm Benjamin Kanabo, following you from Bo City in Sierra Leone. William W. Wulu. He says, like the Liberia Civil Rights Movement's official spokesperson is watching from Upper Cardwell, Monrovia, Liberia. Good morning, brother. And to my Liberian people, Ikpana Kpengba. Good morning, the PMD. I'm following from Arlington City. Long time I've never heard about Arlington. How's Arlington? Jalo Oma Lambam. Hi, good morning. Roberta Riches is watching from Louisville, Kentucky. Ibrahim B. Kruma. I'm following from my usual Iron Factory community residence. Konko Wallo. My point is why. Okay, that's exactly. Abdullah Kane. Good morning, Kelvin. I'm following from Pinsville, Ansu Kane. I'm in support of your view. That's clear, true, Kelvin. What is it? Which view? I have several views here. It says Panko M. Koti watching from RIA Amos G. Conley. He's using the word may not. Famule is wrong. He's using the word may not. So he says Famule is wrong. So the Chief Justice can advise the presidency now. So the Chief Justice can advise the presidency now. Geeks right again. So what about appointed people by the president who are in government? Will the CSA give a test for them? Oh, it's off. Oh wow, too bad. Well, we cannot use our official line right now, so we go straightly over to. We have a technical problem with that line, but that will be sorted out. So you can call now on both numbers. So the WhatsApp and both the regular call, 777-40-40-10. You can call in right now. Sorry, our official line is off, but you can call 777-40-40-10. Please, this is my private number, so you have to ask whether the person is calling the show first, and then you put them on. 777-40-40-10, and our WhatsApp number is also 777-40-40-10. 777-40-40-10. 777-40-40-10. Let's hear from our first caller on the line. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Kelvin.
Good morning, my brother. Your name, where you call from? You're live on Prime FM.
Thank you so much. My name is Osiba, and I'm calling you from tomorrow.
Go ahead.
So I want to speak to the issue of the Chief Justice.
Osibi, and your full name?
Yes, I'm Osiba.
Call your full name.
I'm Raymond.
Okay, Raymond. Go ahead.
So I'm speaking to the issue of the Chief Justice. So Kelvin, 3 months ago, somebody referred to the Chief Justice in a comical manner, which I wouldn't want to repeat. But I think in action, we want to, accredit what that person said to him. Now, while it is true, there may not be a law on the judicial side that says, as a Chief Justice, you can appoint any other person. But I think he forgot about the code of conduct that says you cannot appoint any family member of yours within the same branch of government that you're working in, or you cannot recommend it either. That has to do with the code of conduct. So I thought the fact that had been brought to the knowledge that because he said if somebody bring any law that forbid him doing what he did, he will resign.
Okay.
I thought by now we should be relieved from any of the bigger entities that the children that resign.
No, maybe he maybe you know that today the talk show started now, so let him listen to it first. Yeah?
Yeah, but many radio stations have brought that to another. I think he have read it about now. In the next 30 minutes, we thought we would have seen a resignation letter or on Facebook or in the media.
But it depends on whether you got to put it on speaker or is the person another call.
Yeah, so before I leave, let me make the point. The trend that Jesus is taking, he set a precedent to honor himself and to honor the judicial system in this country. And I think that is wrong.
Thank you.
Thank you for affording me the time.
Thank you. Let's hear from the next caller on the line there. You got to take it quickly. Put it on speaker quick. Yeah, good morning. Your name and where you call from?
Yeah, good morning, Kelvin.
Yes, you're live.
This is Zinatana Sumo calling from Capitol Hill.
Go ahead, Zinatana.
Let me say good, happy for the show this morning. But Kelvin, I would like to differ with you small when you said the former president didn't accuse anybody. The former president wasn't clear. If you can go back to the tape. In the tape, the former president said they came at the party headquarters and fire was in my home for great video call. That wasn't a clear statement. The citizen is still hiding and not wanting to tell the truth. The former president should be clear.
No, but the party incident is a separate incident from the fire incident.
Yeah, well, he is the owner of that property. That be very real. The former president should be very clear, Kelvin, and say that fire issue wasn't masterminded by anybody. Then number two, there is no country in the world where the Liberia National Fire Service cannot enter when you say fire enter your property. You say fire went into your place, and the Liberia National Fire Service cannot investigate. That cannot happen. The president may in Europe, in maybe other civilized country. The government of that country will force the authority, use all means to go and investigate. Because you cannot bring somebody from outside on your own without the authority of the National Fire Service.
Okay. Thank you, my brother. 777-40-40-10 is for both WhatsApp calls and our regular call right here. We are using the same number, but for different purpose. Good morning, your name and where you call from. You got to take the instruction because I got
Good morning, Kelvin.
Yeah, the WhatsApp caller, just hold on, please. Good morning.
Good morning, Kelvin.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, so my name is Lamia Dudodin, and I come from the grounds of the capital.
Go ahead, my brother. Go ahead.
So the first thing, I think the Chief Justice is not in wrong. Reason being that the code of conduct, certain portions are a contravene portion of the Liberian Constitution. If you read Article 2 of the Liberian Constitution, you read Article 11C and Article 18. That part of the code of conduct to the formula is referring to a contravene that of the three portions of the Constitution. And any law that comes within the Constitution, it should not say because it cannot be a law. In Article 18, the Constitution says the government should provide job for all of the citizens, the all. In Article 11C, the Constitution also talk about Your God-given right, your inalienable right is your God-given right. And then in Article 2, it also talk about any law which contravene the Constitution should not be there. So sometimes the lawmaker they promulgate law, but they don't do research. They don't do the resource officer to do research before they promulgate law. Two, they don't read the Constitution before they promulgate law. So they just write anything and they pass it. Other people just sign it to a bigger law. So it also contravenes the Constitution.
Okay.
These three articles, that part of the code of conduct contravenes. So the chief justice is saying any law.
Okay, thank you.
Should read the three part of the Constitution and comprehend it.
Yeah, it's a long haul. This whole week will be on that matter. Let's hear from this caller on the WhatsApp line. Thanks for your patience. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. You're live.
Okay. So this is Amos Conley, and I'm calling from Moravia.
Go ahead, my brother.
Okay, so let me just also start from where the last quarter ended. The Chief Justice was putting law and also have a constitutional backing. Now, if you don't care to what Anthony Famula send you, you find in there may not. So the word in law is may not. It means that he could. He could not. He could. That's what it means. It means that he choose to do it, he choose not to do.
Okay.
So automatically, he cannot say the Chief Justice is wrong or violating any law. That's why I thought to lay my thought on.
Thank you, my brother. Let's hear for the next caller on the regular line. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Kelvin. Dehmey.
Yes, you are right, my brother. You are live, brother, my brother. Go ahead.
Yeah, Kelvin. This is the voice of Sabu Rasta. Kelvin, I'm joining this unique conversation from point 4 to be specific with the Sabu in Zimbabwe. You getting me, Kelvin?
Yeah, I'm getting you. Go ahead.
Thank you, God. Kevin, let me ask you the question before I go down. Listen to all of your talking points. But let me ask you the question, Kevin. How many times you and I we read Article 3349, 3349? How many times we read Article, Kevin, that will make noise or that will even cause, even the angel in heaven said, now, no, in Article 3349, but at the end, we never saw nothing, and at the end, it declared Oscar Barra. How much time?
Babe, just tell you nothing, you. The player, not talk. Thank you.
Kevin, what I'm trying to say in short is, Kevin, the government does not respect the issue of the rule of law. Look, when the hand of the face is rotting, clearing, I mean, Kevin, nothing you expect for the body. That's why you see, though, the whole entire government is for Lufa County. The president of the Republic of Liberia, Joseph Jima Boga, is prioritizing the issue of nepotism. And Kevin, you know our law against nepotism. But look, Kevin, when you have a president who does not respect the rule of law, like I can find. So that's why we're going to send the inception of the government, Kevin. You don't need Roger to say that. President Boga is prioritizing the issue of nepotism. That's why you see this even justifying.
Okay,
thank you for having me.
Thank you, my brother. So we have more calls to take. Don't worry. If you call on the WhatsApp line or the regular call, we'll answer and then hold you. So when you call, just listen. Just follow the instruction first. So there's just one number, but for two different purposes. One, the regular call is 777-40-40-10, and you can use the same number for WhatsApp call 777-40-40-10. Let's hear from this caller from the Philippines. It should be. Good morning.
Yes, good morning Kelvin.
Are you
I think it's already good evening in the Philippines.
Oh, is the Philippines?
Yes, it's already 6 in the Philippines.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I am Moses Blue. No, it's 5:50. Okay, 5:50 in the Philippines.
Okay,
5:50 p.m.
Okay.
Okay, Kelvin, I'm Moses Bull and I call from the Philippines, Los Banos. First of all, I want to speak on the issue of the fire incidents at the president's the former president rather, his residence.
Mm-hmm.
The CDC has clearly told the Liberian people they are going to get external investigator to investigate the fire incident. But what they fail to realize is that the same fire service that they don't want to investigate, it is the fire service that will give those people the authorization to investigate fire matters in Liberia. Mm-hmm. The same Liberian National Police, they don't want to give the authorization to go and carry on security buff up at the president's house. It's the same Liberian National Police that will give those people that quote unquote, are the things they will bring in the country to investigate. We give them authorization. So why are they turning it up and down, up and down? Even the president himself, the former president rather, was not emphatic to say that this was a targeted issue, but he only glossed over it in the interview that I just listened to.
Yeah.
He did not say it emphatically. So former Representative Akaras Gray and he let them say what they can say, but that was not a targeted incident. If they want to do it as politics, let them also remember that the issue of fire nearly take the life of current Senator Cy Joseph. The issue of fire went to the former Defense Minister Prince Johnson residence. You cannot politicize the issue of fire on the premises in the life of the former president.
Okay.
Everything should not be politics in the country.
Thank you.
There are things that are straight. Let us discuss it straight.
Thank you, my brother. His name is Bull. He called in from the Philippines. My name is Kelvin Dehmey. We got more calls here to take. Good morning.
Good morning, Kevin.
Yes, sir. You're live on Prime FM.
Well, I thank you all so much, Kevin. Kevin, this is S. Peter Bena, and I joined for this 11 this morning.
Go ahead, my brother.
Kevin, I want to comment on the fire issue, firstly, because since the incident took place at the former president residence, we have followed so many accounts of the incident, particularly from the CDC angle. Recently, you have Honorable Gray, former lawmaker, he made claim that the fire got there on the president residence by 10 o'clock in the night. And we also listened to the president's account on Sunday, responding officially that the fire got there at the house at 12.
No, he said he got a call by 12. That's why he said.
Yeah, he got a call by 12.
So he mean that the fire came there by 12. When you get a call, the fire obviously has to start. By inference, you should understand now. When the person called, you say the person, no, listen. When somebody say your relative was involved in an accident, it means that the accident had occurred already.
Yeah, but Kevin, I consider the fact that they received a call by 12, and Akara told the public that the fire got there by 10. You see the time interval about 1 hour plus.
No, so and the president, you also have to understand that at that time for people to be up, that human being now, maybe you were sleeping, maybe the bank calling, he didn't get his call until around 12. It is not impossible.
But Kevin, more need to be done. I mean, that whole incident has to be investigated because the horse is not burned down completely.
No, it does not have to be. No, it does not have to be burned down completely. It does not have to be burned down completely.
Kevin, the story is not set. So there is a reason why I think it is about the time that the Liberia National Police, the Fire Service Department, do a thorough investigation, and they also have to invite the president's wife because she advised him not to sleep in the house. So when you know.
But he didn't sleep in the house.
Yeah, but she had to be invited because the president wanted to sleep in the house, but she advised him not to sleep in the house. So it means that maybe she had one or two information concerning the fire incident. Okay. She had to be invited.
Okay, Chief Investigator, thank you, my brother. Let's hear from this caller. Good morning. Good morning. Yes, on the WhatsApp line, you're live.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, ma'am. Your name and where you call from?
Yeah, I'm Marina Keso. You called me from Mampagle.
Okay, you called to participate in the show?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, go ahead. What's your concern, ma'am?
I monitor you this morning. You were saying there are so many things that women are shy from. They don't want to participate. Kelvin, I tell you, they need to conduct so many workshops for women in the country. We that can monitor talk show, you know that people consider us as we less. They say we get nothing to do. People just show talk like, oh, I get my way to do. Like talk show, I come and go listen to. And I tell some of them, I said, not everything that you will hear from someone believe it, but even when you hear it from the radio, you will believe it. And sometimes radio educate you. Sometimes when I even buy back, people get angry. You get what to do, spending your money by it. I say, yes, I want to like something that follow me. I want to monitor it. They see it as foolish thing. So I think they need to conduct workshop for women to educate them on so many things.
Thank you, ma'am. And I'm happy that you started call. You called today. I look forward for you to call. Yeah. Always.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay. I can understand. And not every day you call, but at least once in a while you can call. Let's hear from the next caller on the 777-40-40-10 is the line we are using here for both regular and WhatsApp calls. Good morning.
Good morning, Kelvin.
Good morning, my brother.
Yeah, let me say good morning to the board. Kelvin, I'm in Montevideo. My name is Theophilus Tito the second.
Tio, what's up? I didn't see you yesterday. Why you didn't go to church yesterday?
Not too well, Kelvin. So,
okay. Speedy recovery. Speedy recovery, my brother.
Thank you. So, Kelvin, what constrained me to call is the sound analysis that you make this morning. And with regards to the former presidents and the residents, Lord Kelvin, let's be honest here. Let's be honest here. Today people say, let's be serious. For me, I say, let's be honest. The reality is horses are burning all around this place. And we know recently what happened to the former chief of staff and of the armed forces of Liberia, a place called Godbrain. No political party held a press conference and said it was the government that targeted him, only because the person who holds Godbrain recently, is a public figure, is a politician. So, people now trying to attach that to the government wanting to. Look, nobody want to harm President Weah. President Weah plays Godbrain. The reason why he got brain, let them give chance to the fire service and the Liberia National Police to investigate and let them come up with, a report. For the party, or for the party, not the party politically, but the chairman and Akaro's grade to be making statement around the place and say the government is targeting President Weah. That is not true. I just want to lay my thought on this. Thank you.
Thank you, my brother. Let's pick up more calls right here. 077-40-40-10. 077-40-40-10. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Kevin. Good morning to the Liberian people.
Go ahead, my brother. You're live.
Thank you. My name is Ambassador Divine Tiapo, alias Noah Zao Jason Picking. This morning, let me appreciate you this morning for the show. And realize that my attention has been due to two key important things. Number one, having to do with the fire that got there as the former president resident. I think that the entire citizen, they are not doing justice to the Liberian public because you listen to the statement from the former president yesterday and that of the party. They are telling us that they are having two conflicting statements because as much the entire citizen can come out, the incident as government or the part or government created those things against the former president, and then now we expect former President George Manneh to follow suit of that same statement made by the party. So, and because you listened to him yesterday, he killed the Liberian people that and the incident was then for Dane's purpose, and then God saved his life, when he was unable to tell the Liberian people that what his party said, that what I'm talking about. And then lastly, when it comes to the issue about the quote unquote, and I think the ministers of the former minister who had that incident on that rape case, I think our government needs to do due diligence to see that best to bring this man to book, and then what happened to all of it need to be happening to people who work within the government. So
okay, thank you. Let's take the last four and then we call it a day. 777-40-40-10. We can take four more calls. 777-40-40-10. Good morning.
Hello.
You're live. After you, we take the last three, my brother.
Good morning, Mr. Dehmey.
Good morning. Go ahead, my brother. You're live.
Okay, I want to speak on the issue of the former president's house. If we really want to be realistic, I don't think that any investigation again needed, because if you see after the vote called the fire off and left, their first release, they said they didn't do fact finding, but the first release to order how the fire got started. They said it was called by electric. And if you go there to go do fact finding, you're still going to counter order that the same current caused a fire. So it's they jump the gun before they coming out to say they want to go and investigate.
Okay, so in short,
we need to be real, we need to be factual.
So let's play the devil advocate. Let's agree with what you're saying are true. They agree that the government said that electrical, CDC said that not electrical. It was an unprovoked attack on the life of the former president. So let them come all to tell that it was not electrical, but it was something intended to harm the former president.
You see, the thing I can get our government hard time is they can be fast to talk. At the end of tomorrow, now they go, nothing will change like the capital building issue. Once you do a pronouncement and you go for the fast funding again, you will not make it public to have that trust into what you are trying to do. They may be professional, but I don't know why sometimes, you're not doing things to please people. You should just do the just thing, then behaving like you are a politician and all of those things.
Thank you.
So going into this again, to me, if they say they didn't want it, so let it be. But I mean, coming out again without a result, they will now give any good food. Nobody will believe it.
Thank you, my brother. Let's take the last two more after this call. 777-40-40-10. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. 777-40-40-10. Let's take three more. 777-40-40-10. This is Prime FM. This is the Prime Morning Drive. We're winding down. 777-40-40-10. Good morning. Your name and where you call from. Good morning. Yes, you're live. After you will take the last two. You're sounding very far from your phone. You're sounding very far from your phone. Yes, yeah, just hurry up because you're far from your phone. Go ahead. Okay, thank you. Let's hear from the next caller. Then we'll take the last one. Good morning. Your name and where you call from. 777-40-40-10. 777-40-40-10. Let's take this caller. After that, we'll take one more. We call it a day. Good morning.
Good morning, Kerry.
Hey, it's on Paco.
Yeah, Paco, Kerry. This my present journalist.
The great Paco. What's up, my papi? Long time.
I always enjoy you, man.
Go ahead.
Thank God for proud family. Kerry.
Yeah.
They had the door and we're talking, but the country will get better. What the fuck we should put in there? They retro in the country now. Give the people chance to go check what happened with your resident. We cannot wait for just before information to the public because of sympathy. We are not here for sympathy. Some of the things that before us end. Say any level of power in the play carrying your wood and defender will run to your doma. The one the former president Eddie Johnson leave the Bremo? No, the other former. The fire started when Kote was going to go do what happened. They said no, don't enter my resident. They're creating a change. Don't control your own comment. That's because you let me comment and control for other like me. The president, our former president. But we can just work on just for individual part. So you can find someone to make sure what plan that. Not about the resident or the president area.
Okay, Papa.
Then I can check. Thank you, Kerry.
Thank you. Let's
Thank
you. Amen. Let's take the last call. Good morning. Your name and where you call from. Good morning,
Kerry.
You are last caller. Go ahead, my brother.
My name is Benedict Kiche. I call from the Bob Kutown.
Go ahead, Benedict.
So, a guy called and said the fire service did an investigation first. They used the word preliminary investigation. Right after the cutting up of the fire, the fire service boss said it was preliminary. It was all EFBC when they called it that morning. He said it was preliminary investigation. They were going to assign 4 investigators to do the proper investigation. So how can they lead the preliminary and come out to the investigation and they come into the investigation again? That was not true. They said preliminary investigation. Then now they're going down to do the proper investigation. Now they inform the public on what happened first. So that what they announced. Thank you, my brother.
Thank you. Sorry, we're not taking any more calls. We have to go, or else we wouldn't go. We have to go, or else we wouldn't leave from here, folks. On that note, this is how I like to wind down the curtain on this edition of the program, the Prime Morning Drive on Prime FM 105.5. I'm trying to look for something to close up right here. What did the fire service say? To just close up the whole thing about preliminary, no preliminary. I know I have the soft copy here sent to me by the DMA, the Liberia National, it says here, the Liberia National Fire Service, Ministry of Justice press statement issued by the Liberia National Fire Service on the recent fire incident around Monrovia and its environs. Okay, so the first one was about retired General Prince Johnson, and then the second one was about former President Weah. What did they say? They say here, just to close up the show, on September 24, 2025, at about 12:48 a.m., Wednesday morning, the Liberia National Fire Service received a call that the 9th Street residence of former President George Manneh Weah was gutted by fire. Upon receiving the call, the second shift crew at the Station 1 on Ashmore Street immediately departed the station at about 12:48 a.m. and arrived at the fire scene at about 12:54 a.m. While Station 1 was fighting the fire, Stations 4 and 5, along with the ambulance, went to backup to Station 1. According to the firefighters, the origin of the fire, let me go to the second page, The origin of the fire was from the former president room on the first floor. The fire later spread. Let me spray it quickly, please, folks. Beg you. I'm reading from the phone and I have to increase the font size. The fire was from the former president room on the first floor. The fire later spread to the bed, dresser, and window. Major George S. David, commander of the second shift, observed that the current was fluctuating at the time of combating the fire. The team believed that the cause of the fire was as a result of electrical shock. The fire was extinguished at 1:20 a.m. and the team departed the fire scene at about 12:03 a.m. On Wednesday morning of September 24, 2025, the fire investigators went to the 9th Street residence of former President George Weah to investigate and establish the actual cause of the fire, but they were denied entry in the compound. They were told that they will be contacted when the need arises. Upon the release of this statement, the Liberia National Fire Service is yet to receive any call. So they did not say preliminary here. Maybe they say on another radio station, but the hard copy, the official statement issued by the LNFS, that's the Liberia National Fire Service, did not say preliminary. Major George S. Davis, commander of the second shift, observed that the current was fluctuating. At the time, meaning the current was going on, coming on, it get dim, it can't on, it get dim, it can't on. At the time of combating the fire, the team believed that the cause of the fire was as a result of electrical shock. I end the show here on this note. I talk to you will be on tomorrow, 7:45. Hopefully Danishas will be here or not. But in the meantime, do have yourself a wonderful and God bless day. My name is Kelvin Dehmey. Today is Monday. Today is the 29th day of September. The month ends on tomorrow. Do have yourself a wonderful and God bless day. This is how I would like to officially wind down the recording on this, the edition of the program, the Prime Morning Drive on Prime FM 105.5. Kelvin Dehmey, I'm out. Bye-bye.